The halls of Balmoral grow quiet in the final weeks of summer. The Queen, surrounded by few, spends her last days in stillness. Beyond the photographs, beyond the ceremonial farewells, there lies the unanswered question of legacy, not only of monarchy, but of blood. In the shadow of her reign, two grandsons now walk very different paths. Prince William, the heir, steady and present. Prince Harry, the outsider, distant in geography and decision. And between them, the memory of a grandmother whose silence was both armor and language. What did Queen Elizabeth II truly wish for her grandsons? And what legacy, spoken or unspoken, did she leave behind? Before we explore further, there's something I need to share with you. Over the past few days, thousands have watched these stories unfold, but most haven't subscribed. If you're one of them, I invite you now to join us. Subscribe to Crownverse so you never miss the next chapter in this unfolding royal history. In the public eye, the Queen remains the constant figure, duty-bound, composed, enduring. But within family, those close to her recall a woman of warmth, tradition, and subtle favoritism. For William and Harry, she is not just monarch, but matriarch. In their childhood, she is the quiet anchor after Diana's death. She walks beside them at the funeral. She hosts them at Balmoral, teaches them about horses, about faith, about the gravity of service. For years, they remain close. But then, things change. As Harry steps away from royal duties in 2020, following the controversial Sussex departure, public speculation grows over the Queen's reaction. Some outlets suggest she is disappointed, others say she is heartbroken. But through it all, she remains publicly gracious. The official statement reads with restraint. While we would have preferred them to remain full-time working members of the royal family, we respect and understand their wish to live a more independent life. These are not words of rupture. They are words of managed sorrow. What few know at the time is that the Queen continues to correspond with Harry. According to royal reporters like Valentine Lowe, author of Courtiers, the Queen reportedly writes letters to her grandson, maintaining a private dialogue even after the Oprah interview in 2021. The contents of those letters are not public, but their existence suggests a grandmother unwilling to sever bonds no matter the headlines. This is not policy, it is personal. In contrast, William remains by her side. As Duke of Cambridge and later Prince of Wales, he steps deeper into constitutional duties. He represents her at state functions, supports her during health challenges, and prepares quietly for what lies ahead. The Queen is said to admire his sense of duty, his steadiness, his care in balancing public role with private life. And yet, there is no evidence she ever withdraws affection from Harry. The story is not one of preference, it is one of divergence. In 2002, Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, passes away. Her will, unlike her daughter's, is partially revealed. It includes a trust fund set aside for her great-grandchildren, including William and Harry. Reports suggest the value reaches £19 million. The structure of the trust is designed for two key payout points, at age 21 and again at 40. Royal finance analysts speculate that Harry may have received a larger share than William, not as favoritism, but as balance. William will inherit the Duchy of Cornwall, the privileges of succession, and one day the crown itself. Harry, financially independent by choice or necessity, may receive more from this trust to compensate. This decision, made decades earlier, signals an understanding of imbalance. Whether this trust was discussed with the Queen herself is unclear, but its existence feeds the narrative of a grandmother and a family seeking to protect both grandsons in different ways. By the time of the Queen's passing in September 2022, relations between the brothers have grown colder. At the funeral, their proximity is ceremonial. Their interactions are minimal. In the days that follow, the question of inheritance resurfaces. Who receives what? Was there a final instruction? A symbolic gesture? Legally, the Queen's will is sealed. This is tradition. Wills of British sovereigns are locked away, inaccessible to the public, for at least 90 years. It is unlikely anyone outside the royal circle knows the full content. But this silence does not stop speculation. Some media outlets claim that jewelry passed to Kate Middleton was chosen carefully. Others say Meghan received no significant heirlooms, but no statement confirms or denies these claims. Instead, we look to what is visible. In the months before her death, the Queen makes several public decisions that carry symbolic weight. At her Platinum Jubilee, she appears on the Buckingham Palace balcony with Charles, Camilla, William, Kate, and their children. The moment is brief, but deliberate. It visually affirms the line of succession. Harry and Meghan, though present in London, are not included in this balcony appearance. Was this a message, a boundary, or simply protocol? In early 2022, she announces her wish that Camilla be known as Queen Consort upon Charles's ascension. It is one of the few times she directly inserts herself into a matter of legacy. No such announcement comes regarding Harry. But silence is not absence. Those close to the Queen, including aides and biographers, say her enduring hope was reconciliation, not necessarily of duty, but of family. Royal writer Robert Hardman notes in interviews that the Queen was deeply saddened by the familial rift and believed in time things would settle. Still, there are things we do not see. No one outside the family knows whether she left behind private letters for William and Harry. No one knows if there was a verbal blessing or an unspoken wish. And yet, in the way she carries herself, in the deliberate balance of affection and duty, we see traces of what she might have wanted. It is too simple to frame this as a story of favoritism. The Queen did not play one brother against the other. Rather, she accepted what they became. William, the monarch in waiting; Harry, the prince in pursuit of his own path. And her legacy, for better or worse, lies in the choices they now make without her. As of today, Prince William continues to carry the crown's future. He is active in royal duties, visible in public service, and increasingly vocal about mental health and environmental concerns. He rarely speaks of Harry. When asked, he responds with restraint. Their last known interaction comes during the King's coronation in 2023, where Harry attends but does not linger. The distance is no longer a metaphor. It is real. Harry, meanwhile, releases a memoir, continues media appearances, and lives in California with his family. He often speaks of his grandmother with respect. He names his daughter Lilibet after the Queen's childhood nickname. In interviews, he recalls her fondly, describing her as warm, curious, and wise. If there is resentment, it is not for her. And so we return to the central question. What did the Queen truly wish for William and Harry? We may never read it in ink. We may never hear it in words. But perhaps it is found in gestures, in a letter left unanswered, in a photograph unremoved from a desk, in a trust fund structured decades ago, in a balcony appearance or its absence, in the naming of a child, in the silence of a will. This is not the kind of legacy one quantifies. It is not a matter of titles or estates or jeweled heirlooms. It is a question of closeness, of forgiveness, of family. The Queen was a sovereign, but she was also a mother, a grandmother, a witness to fracture and to healing. Perhaps her final will was not a document, but a hope, that her grandsons, once inseparable, might one day find their way back to each other, that beyond monarchy, there might be something more enduring, something no seal can close,